Who else we got? One more minute before we start. Who else we got? Real quick.
I'm so happy to have leftover stew.
Trinidad, Barbados. Okay, nice.
Dallas,
Where we got?
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas. It's Gia from Dallas, Texas. As always, appreciate you.
Yeah.
Right.
We have good barbecue here.
Good barbecue. So good fried chicken with the Barnes and good barbecue with Gia in Texas. That's how we're gonna do it. All right. Well, thank you for being here, guys. We're gonna do a quick update call today. Thank you. And go ahead and mute yourself out if you're not speaking on the Zoom. We appreciate you for doing that. Thank you so much. Okay, good. Thank you. All right, so Marcus, we can go ahead and give people a little bit of update. I know we're going to kind of break it up again for people to get the maximum out of it, and so everyone wants to know how we're about to do this team deal. So, the floor is yours, Marcus.
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
We hear you. Yes.
We can hear you, your royal Marcus.
So guys, hey team, it's a bunch of exciting stuff going on. Very, very exciting stuff. We're starting people coming into town, and we're really looking at how we can explode our coin and the ecosystem, even more so than it's about to explode. What I want to go over now is some talk about teams. I know we mentioned it the other day. You guys had a bunch of questions about teams. We want to talk about teams and why teams are important and how you really make big money with teams. So with that being said, I'm going to, I need to share my screen.
Yeah, you got to share.
So I can see screen share. All right. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Very well. So I'm going to start with this, that the fastest wealth creator in the world today is probably not what you think. It's not real estate. You know, traditionally real estate, oil, these things created wealth, the big wealth. You know, almost everybody that was wealthy in the beginning of 2 centuries ago had real estate. So had real estate and had like railroads. So these things have been a big wealth creators over time. But the fastest wealth creator on the planet today is startup equity. Startup equity. So that is equity in startups, that is shares of startups, that is getting a piece of startups. Creating more 100 millionaires and more billionaires than anything else on the planet by far. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight and how it relates to that, because you can't have an ecosystem without businesses, and you can't have businesses without startups. They first have to start. You have to gain momentum, they got to gain traction, they got to gain money, they can be the big thing that you think they are today. So let me give you some examples. Let's see here. Presentation I'm putting together from one of my older presentations. Like this. So here's an example. I have a buddy who lives in California. Actually, his name is Jason Calcutters, and he was one of the early investors in Uber. Okay, and he invested $25,000 in Uber. $25,000 in Uber, and that investment today. Now, many people didn't say that anybody's rich, but many people on this phone call has had at one time another $25,000 in their hands to do something with. His $25,000 investment in Uber turned into $100 million. So one investment, a $25,000 investment, turned into $100 million. So then it means if he had invested $2,500 at the same time, it would turn to 10 million. You can still retire the rest of your life on 10 million. If he had invested $250, so he was real tight, invested $250, it still would turn into 1 million. $250 into 1 million. Now, almost everybody on this call has invested more than $250 in humanity. In fact, more again, 100 millionaires and billionaires around the globe are being created in startup equity. That is, having shares in these new startups than any other way around the world. And so if you look, Arthur Rock, here's an example. Arthur Rock was one of the original investors in Intel Inside. They make the microchips for computers. His $10,000 investment turned into $1 billion. $10,000 investment turned to over $1 billion. And then he took that and created an investment fund and started investing in other startups. So 10,000, again, if 10,000 turned into $1 billion, 1,000 would have turned into 100 million, 100 would have turned into 10 million, $10 would have turned into $1 million. This is how people are making money. Why? Because startups, not established business, startups are the key to any economy because they create new jobs. So startups are the key to any economy. So we talk about this decentralized GDP of Africa, this $10 trillion, the GDP of Africa that's coming down, and it's going to come down through companies. It's going to come down through the NFTs, but it's also going to come down through companies. And people want to have massive opportunities to create wealth. NFTs are about creating income. Some wealth for the owner of the NFTs, but they're really about creating income. Now, you take your income and you can create wealth. Or you can take your P&R, your personal resource, and create wealth. This what this call is about, creating wealth and how it's being done. So Intel's not the only company that took a little bit of money and made somebody big. What about Apple? Apple has grown 220,000%, which is absolutely insanely crazy, 220,000%. Again, $100 here would make you a millionaire today. Not 100,000, $100 will make you a millionaire today. Because as Forbes says, angel investing is how the rich invest. We say how the rich get richer. And we watch this for many years. This is how the rich get richer. More examples, Amazon is up 14 million%. Facebook is up 736,000%. Now that Facebook looks pretty doggone cheap when the company standing next to you, Amazon, is up 14 million%. And that's what made, for a period of time, Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, the wealthiest man on the planet. Now, these opportunities in the past weren't available there. They were insider opportunities. They were only available to insiders. But many of you have heard about crowdfunding. I'm just going to read a line here. But not anymore. A powerful congressional act signed into law by President Obama has now unleashed one of the most biggest financial shifts in U.S. history. And what he's talking about is the ability, the Jobs Act created by President Obama gave everybody the ability to crowdfund, to invest in startups early, to seek the same returns as everybody else. More overnight millionaires, people at Uber, that's like my friend, up over 1.5, almost 1.6 million%. The investors in Airbnb, some of you have stayed in Airbnb, some of you have an Airbnb. The investors of Airbnb are up 2 million%. These are unheard of numbers. And CNN, one of the world's most valuable private companies, says SpaceX will be worth or is worth or had an increase of 162,000%. Now, again, if you take a little bit of money, you end up with a lot of money. So what's causing these returns? Let me walk you through a process. A startup starts and it's not worth very much money because it's just an idea. But say you get an opportunity to invest in that startup, well, it's just an idea. We would typically call you an angel investor. And as an angel investor, you're looking for rare diamonds in the rough, gems that nobody thought of yet or nobody's seen yet. And you're gonna put your money where your mouth is, whether that's $1 million, $100,000, or $100, and that this is the winning fish. And if somebody beats this, this is the winning fish. And what you can do is create many, many opportunities to create real wealth. Startups are the way to create wealth. Startups have been for decades now the way to create real wealth. And so if you look at more opportunities, because I don't want you to think it's one or two or three, every single company that you know of now, every single company that you think of, the things that you use every day, you know of Robinhood, 8,000%. You've heard of Spotify, you've listened to music on Spotify, 133,000%. Stripe uses to process money, 60,000%. We use Stripe. Etsy, site for artists, 280,000%. On and on and on. In fact, it's been proven that if you take a portfolio of just $500 and you split it among startups, and these startups, most of you don't know, GitHub, Lyft, you know, ZocDoc, you don't know, Houses, you don't know. If you split it among these startups, your average rate of return would have been over 10,000%. So 10,000 times, 10,000% is 100 times your money. So 500 becomes, 10,000% is 1,000 times your money. So 500 becomes 500,000, 50 becomes 50,000, 5 becomes 5,000. With that little money. So I want to tell you how you're going to participate, why we're on the call, why we're talking about all of this. So I'm going to take this as a thing in this thing out here called unicorn. A unicorn is a startup that's worth $1 billion. So if I will go, you heard me talk about China. I'll go here and you say, if you heard me talk about China, how China has grown up in the last 20 years from being nowhere to being a world superpower. How did they do it? If I search China unicorns, Chinese unicorns. According to a recent report produced by Shanghai-based research firm, China placed second, this is in 22, internationally with 301 unicorns, or startups valued at more than $1 billion. So that's what the rest of this is going to say. A unicorn is a startup valued at more than $1 billion. And every year they had, in 2020, they had 200. What did they had 160? Now they have 300. Every year, China is cranking out more companies, TikTok, that are worth $1 billion, and therefore creating many billionaires, 100 millionaires, etc. Well, this is the purpose. This is the goal of African Startup League. Is to create billion-dollar companies that come out of our ecosystem through our NFTs, of which you're already on, then through the teams, through the African Startup League competition, and going to be billion-dollar companies. As you do that, Then the owners of those companies, which are us, the owners of those companies will get the opportunity to watch our money grow the same way in all the examples I just showed you, that other people's money grows. So to take this money that we have invested and other monies that we will invest, and watch that money grow 1,000 times, 10,000 times, 1,000,000%. African Startup League's goal is to create millions and millions and millions of jobs by startups that just do well, but also to have hundreds, if not thousands, startups that go on to be billion-dollar companies. If you support the right companies from the beginning, you're gonna make a lot of money. Okay, so African Startup League's goal is to create as many unicorns, billion-dollar companies, as China created over the last 20 years. So really, we're taking 10,000 companies and we want to create over time 1,000 unicorns, 1,000 companies that are worth more than $1 billion. How do you participate? Well, easy. One way is to have a really great idea. The unfortunate part about that is that great ideas are few and far in between. So the statistical odds of you having a great enough idea to be $1 billion company are not very high. But because of ecosystem, the vast majority of people who are making billions of dollars off of these startups are not people with a great idea. It's people who supported the person with the great idea early enough to make a lot of money, to get a lot of leverage. The people who are making these hundreds of millions and billions of dollars are typically not just the people who have the great ideas. True, they have great ideas, but to get behind somebody and back them that has no greater, they have to support somebody who has a great idea and ride with them all the way to unicorn status. So like I showed you in all of those examples. So how do we do that in African Startup League? Easy. This is about teams. And what we're going to launch here in the next 48 hours or so are team sponsorships. Team sponsorships. So we're finished. In fact, the very last coins that we have are going out the next days. Literally, we're out of coins. So we're finished the individual sponsorships. We're getting ready to convert that coin over. You guys most of you have already converted your coin over to the new coin and to the NFTs. And the NFTs are about royalties. So the NFTs are about income. You buy NFT royalties to get income. You own teams to get equity. Okay? NFTs are about income. Teams are about equity. Okay, so we're going to roll out our team sponsorship. Now, if you think that the NFT sponsorship went fast, it was only 300,000 NFTs. There's only 10,000 teams. And once those 10,000 teams and the coins that represent those 10,000 teams are sold out, that opportunity is done directly. There's only 10,000 teams. Each team will be able to submit one idea or one startup into each Startup League competition. So each African Startup League competition, each annual competition is going to field 10,000 teams, or 10,000 startups, I should say, excuse me. Each team will have the opportunity to enter one startup into the competition. So as a team owner, if you have one team, you can enter one startup. If you have 2 teams, you can enter 2 startups. If you have 10 teams, you can enter 10 startups into the competition. As you read, it's been in the papers and newspapers, the competition is going to go and going to create 100 winners. Each winner is guaranteed a minimum of $10,000 prize. The top winner is guaranteed a minimum of $1 million top prize. Now, the people who have the great ideas, the founders are going to go push these ideas to try to get them to win this competition. But you're going to have, you as team owners, are going to have an economic interest in their outcome. And your hope is that one of the teams that you pick, one of the teams that you support, one of the teams that you sponsor, go on to become an African unicorn. And as that happens, it's going to create massive amount of wealth for you and the other people who are in that startup, pick that startup. So first competition starts, 10,000 teams have been purchased. Those 10,000 teams nominate their startups. Those startups go into a competition that's going to end up with the top 100 winning cash prizes and the top startup winning at least $1 million cash prize. But the startups are not the only winners, because you, again, as you have an opportunity to participate, you win when they win. And how teams are going to work and how you qualify to be a team owner is simple. We're going to launch we already have the site. We're going to release the site in a couple of days where people can go on, buy coins, and either individually form a team or buy coins, team up with other people to form teams. And those teams are going to pick, again, the startups, and those startups are going to compete. And the ones that win are going to win cash prizes. And the ones that are going to be big are going to create wealth for all of its followers, all its people that supported it, all of the investors. This is a big deal. This is how real wealth creation is done all over the world in startups. And we're going to bring that same wealth creation to the continent and let all those great minds and those great ideas, those people who know how to solve the problems in Africa, who know how to make therefore big enterprises, we're going to support them through the NFTs and through this team and through the team portal. And as we support them, we're going to also be financial beneficiaries, but in a very, very neat way, a very exciting way, in a way that doesn't risk the principle. So step one, we're going to form teams, let people buy team coins and form teams. Those are going to run out, they're going to sell out pretty fast. Step two, people are going to form teams. Step three, those teams are going to get themselves entered into the African Startup League. And step four, the winners are going to be rewarded in cash prizes. And if you're part of one of the winners, you'll be able to have an option of converting into equity, okay? Into a piece of the company, into ownership at your discretion. You can just stay in cash, say, no, I don't want to convert into that company. I just want to get my cash out, get my return, etc. Or you can go right into the equity structure of that company and create an opportunity for a much better return for yourself. Does it take a lot of money? As I explained earlier, it doesn't take a lot of money. You know, if you got 10,000 times your money and you had $6, you just went from $6 to $60,000. Maybe it doesn't sound like a lot, but it'll change a lot of people's lives in Africa and America.
I'm about to say here too, right?
Oh no, in America. This is the same system that Americans use to get rich. We just broke it down in a way that fits our model. Right. And we're just giving people the hottest opportunity, because where there are already all these unicorns, China and the US, it's very hard to get it done. But now we're going to a virgin territory as far as unicorns is concerned, not many at all, and create a massive opportunity for our members and for our sponsors and for our global community. It's to only help launch our African unicorns. So, one, again, you go, people are going to go. And by the way, not only that, the hot part for the people on this phone is that when you get people to sponsor a team, that's fully commissionable action. And we're launching this in a already structured downline that pays down 6 levels deep when you bringing in people to sponsor teams. Now, as a distributor, as a marketer, you can market your way into a real million or multi-million-dollar payday, because you can take your market, you can market your way to earning coins in these startups. You can market your way to earning money and buy coins and startups, but you can market your way to earning a million, a 10 million, 100 million, or maybe even more outcome by bringing people in. You're gonna get, it's fully commissionable, 6 levels deep. And you take that commission money again, all of it, some of it is up to you. Put it in your pocket, spend it, convert it into more team ownership, convert it into a piece of these companies. That's how it's going to be a super powerful thing for the marketers, super powerful thing for investors, super powerful thing for the people in Africa.
Marcus.
It. Mhm.
So I think it might be helpful here just to do two things, if I may add real quick. So two things, just people to have an idea, because some people might not be familiar with angel investing or investing at all. And one thing that when you were explaining this to me that was significantly different was that if I were to invest that 25,000 that your buddy did in Uber, and Uber didn't work, I would lose that money, right?
Exactly.
But here, if I were to buy stake tokens to do it, you're saying that I wouldn't, or how would that be different? Would I lose money?
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is absolutely, Jamal. Thank you for reminding me. This is the significant difference between this type of angel investing and what goes on out there. Silicon Valley, the people who are out there, venture capitalists, billionaires, they expect that 90% of the businesses are going to fail. So what their model is what they call spray and pray. You spread your money around to as many companies as possible, and you pray that you get 1 or 2 hits. The problem I've always had with this for decades is that for poor people, you can't afford to spray and pray. Like, you can't afford to invest in 10 different companies. First of all, our money is typically smaller, and they hope that one of them or one of them to them a hit, and that's how you make out. So, and then they also say, in Silicon Valley, they tell their entrepreneurs, their young entrepreneurs, fail until you succeed, right? Well, because if you fail out there, it's a badge of honor. They give you another shot. They raise more money for you, and let you start another startup. In poor communities, you don't get to fail 2 or 3 or 4 times, and everybody keeps supporting you because they can't, because it's a matter of survival. Here, however, what's very different about our system is the way that you participate is you stake your coins to the team that you want to support. But by you stake your coins, as we talked about yesterday, you have no risk of losing your coins, because however many stake coins you stake, those coins are coming back to you at the end of the contest. So staking here is much superior to investing, because you're going to stake your coins, but you'll get those coins back. Now, the only way you don't get those coins back is that you decide at the end of the process, you want to convert those coins into equity. Why would you do that? Because you just signed up for, you just supported the next Uber, and now this is going to be worth a lot of money, and you want to get your piece of it. But that's a decision for you to convert to equity that's going to be worth a lot more than the coins were at the time that you participated. But this created a system that nobody loses their money by supporting these startups. Everybody can stake. We talked about the other day. There's 4 ways to stake your HNFT. You can stake it to NFTs. You can stake it to teams. You can stake it to the governance seat, which we're going to talk about at a later date. You can stake it to charities. And what charities get is fully transparent, blockchain, but they also get the benefit of their supporters' work, right? So before they get the benefit of the supporters' money when they come to church, now they get the benefit of that thing, the benefit of that process, without risking any capital. And that is the true innovation here. So you stake your coins, and you're going to get your coins back at the end of the process. Or if the process has become very valuable, your team won and is going somewhere, you can convert those coins into equity in that startup at a very low rate that nobody can get. This is going to be super exciting, super fun. It's going to change the world, because now all these startups across Africa that get abandoned and don't have support, they will have support. And if they can't, they will have support from the community, from the local area on up. And everybody will see clearly it's in their best interest to support the winning startups. Even before we got there, startups can start down and can start one place and spread all over Africa, and we can all benefit from that. So, Jamal, is there anything else that I left off that's super important for this first introduction?
I think you did a good job of covering that. I think maybe for some people might have the question as to, so how are you able to stake, get the benefit of the money, and still be able to return your money without having lost your principal?
Right. So all of you have some HNFT coins. And that coin is we call a stake and serve coin. So you'll be able to stake those coins as well. Everybody will have the opportunity until they're going to buy our team coin, which is again functional like our HMN coin. It's a coin about staking to the NFT, to the teams that are going to go out there and try to become unicorns. So once people stake your coins, you're going to get your coins back, but you and the startup are going to get paid out interest for the duration of that staking. The startups can use their money to obviously build a startup, and you can use yours to either take out or either roll into more coin there for more opportunity. With that, Jamal, what was the question again? I forgot the last end of the question.
So all right, so typically we want to start Uber, right? Take 25 grand.
Yep.
You're your buddy, give you 25 grand. Either it wins or it fails, right? It wins, we understand how it multiplies the money. So what was the numbers we saw again? 1 million times Amazon, whatever it is, right? So
yeah, 1 million times, 10,000 times, 100,000 times your money. Yep.
I think pull it back up if you can see it, because it's powerful visual for people to really see it with the leverages in these areas. All right, so we understand it wins. If it loses, in other words, it doesn't succeed, right? Your $25,000 is gone in typical scenarios. So
Yes.
how are we able to use the money here and still protect the money, and if there's a loss, still be able to receive the 25,000 that otherwise in an Uber or real estate venture situation, any other kind of angel situation, the money would be gone. So people can understand that concept, the mechanism. Does that make sense? The question clear?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely. So I do it just like this. Hey, my buddy, if you take $25,000, you put it in Uber, and Uber fails, your $25,000 is gone. Jamal is correct, exactly correct. But here, what you would do is you had $25,000 and you saw a company in the African startup league, and many investors around the world will do this, by the way. Many. You see a company that you think is the next Uber, you take $25,000 out of your pocket and you buy our humanity coin, or the NFT coin, because when you buy either of those two coins, then you can stake that coin. So instead of you giving to the startup $25,000, and if they spend it, they lose it, whatever, you're going to give to the startup a piece of paper to sign, and you're going to give to the startup. You're going to take the $25,000, buy coins. You're going to take those coins and stake them to the startup of which you want to invest in. When you stake those coins are going to produce income. That income is split between you, the staker, so that staker still gets income, and between the startup that you pick, the same way you can stake to the NFTs. Now, when the startup takes that money that you staked and many other people stake it, they grow the company. That means the equity of the company is going to be more valuable. And you get to make a decision at the end of your staking period and at the end of the contest, if I want to change that $25,000 into equity in that startup, or I just want to get my $25,000 in coins back, right? Now, with that being said, the decision is yours to make. We would never make any suggestions about which startups, because everybody should pick startups that they think should exist, and if they're willing to help push. But the concept of betting on startups and losing money does not exist here, because at the end of the day, if your startup did not work, if your startup failed the next day, in the real world, you would lose your $25,000. In the world with Wall Street, you will lose your $25,000. Here, your $25,000 is sitting in coins that are actually should be going up. You should actually make money even if you pick a losing startup over the period. So if the period is 6 months, you should be making money over that 6 months that well overcompensates for what you would have lost, and your principal should still be the same. That's how people invest in startups without potential of losing money, because you just invest in the returns, the staking returns. Now, we expect our staking returns to be huge, and definitely, but everybody's going to have an opportunity to get the staking returns and get their principal, their coin returned back to them. That's why this is different than everything else out there. And this is how we're going to support these 10,000 startups. This is how we're going to create unicorns. And you can keep playing over and over again. You get your coin back, you can go invest into the next round. You get your coin back, you go invest into the next round. You get your coin back, split up among 10 different projects, and invest in the next round. And you're trying to catch your unicorn. And eventually, if you stay in the game, you're going to catch a ride on one of these unicorn stocks that are going to grow in Africa. And as you catch that ride on one of these unicorn stocks, you'll see the real benefit of that. So I want to, I know we're about 46 minutes in. I want to stop here so I can answer questions.